Yeah.
All right, everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome to FNS Sports again. If you are a returning viewer, not that many of you, so hopefully a lot of you are new. I don't know. We don't have any subscribers or followers or whatever you call it, likes and these things. We don't have much of that, but we actually don't care about that too much. We do this for the joy, for the fun, and of course, it's called FNS Sports because it's father and son sports. Pretty simple. It's mostly about me. My name is Dwayne, and my son, you see there, his name is Uttu, Otto in English. Uh, he's actually the expert. If you're new here, actually, he's the one that I think knows more, especially about football. So we do football, soccer in America, and we do football quite a bit, mostly focused on the Reggae Boys. Actually, this is only our second or third Knicks video, however you want to count it. But yeah, let's get into it. Trying to be more
Yeah.
consistent in the new year. So Knicks video number 2 or 3.
Two, I think.
The win streak has been crazy. Like this has been 4 in a row.
Crazy. We went from 3 losses to 4 wins. Crazy, crazy stuff. And also that's everything after the trade. Like we went
Exactly.
from 3 losses before the trade, and then after the trade, it's 4 wins.
4 wins after 3 losses. You couldn't ask for a better turnaround than that.
No.
No, I think that the Knicks are clearly uh, picking it up as a team. Looking at the numbers,
Probably.
we beat the Wolves by 6 points. That was number one or number two team in the West at the time. We beat the Bulls. As we saw, that could have been a trappish kind of game. Like the Bulls were not a bad team. They beat some good teams this season, actually. DeMar DeRozan, Andre Drummond playing really well. We beat them by 16 points. We went to that game. That was awesome. Really, really fond memories there, Uttu. So thanks for coming with me. And of course, it's always great to share those moments with you. But we beat them handily by 16 points. We had a great time at the Garden. The Garden was rocking for us. We were screaming. People around us were screaming. So it was really fun. Sixers, we couldn't ask for a better situation there. Actually was I think, a tough game in the first half, or at least the first quarter ish.
For sure,
And
for
then,
sure.
yeah, and then it became a blowout. Who is Joel Embiid? I don't know who that guy is.
Like, what happened?
MVP what?
Like, like the dominance in that game was absolutely crazy. Like I've not seen anything like it. And especially against the Sixers, like this ain't no Pistons right here. This is not a very bad team. This is a very, very, very good team, and which could go far in the playoffs. And to beat a team like that much, like we cruised pretty much like after the second quarter. Like mid second quarter, it was barely a game.
Yep,
Like it
yep,
was crazy.
yep. Uh, we won by 36 points, so almost 40-point win there. Let's just round up for these things. So 40 points, I'm gonna call that a 40-point victory over the Sixers. I think Maxey actually played a decent game. I can check the stats, but I think he played a decent game. But I think again, it's the scenarios where OG and the defense has very timely
So
stops.
much.
They stop you when you're about to like get into some kind of rhythm. They come up with a stop, a steal, a deflection, something happens, and then the Knicks are off to the races underscore.
Great. I think Tibbs has got something good with this trade. I think the defense that OG gives us and the rest of the team itself is just amazing. We kept Embiid to low points for his standards. I'd say we didn't really let anybody else really cook. I think it was just a great like overall performance. I think Embiid had not the best of games. We kept him on lock. I think Hardenstein maybe didn't do a perfect game as we saw him against the Bulls and the against the Wolves. But otherwise, I think just great game, just overall, like from the whole defense. I think Tibbs has something going on. I mean, 4 wins in a row is crazy. So hopefully he can just keep it up, man.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. There's definitely something going on with the defense, and I would say a lot of it has to do with the new acquisition, OG Anunoby. Uh, I'm still, I'm a little not, I'm not, my cup is not full with OG. I'm gonna be honest with you.
No.
I think he shot 3 for 11 in that Sixers game. I'm not sure what he shot last night in the Wizards game. Uh, well, 4 for 7, I think, in the Wizards game, if I remember correctly. So, uh, not getting a lot of actual shots up, which maybe is fine, but I would prefer if he maybe got at least 12 to 15 shots. But now I'm thinking, I wonder if his game will just stay defensive. He's going to save his
It
energy
might.
for playing defense, and we really should never expect him to contribute more than he is now on the offensive end. But that to me will still keep me a little half full. I would like him to contribute a little bit more, to be honest with you. I don't know, maybe it's just more fun to watch, I don't know.
Yes. Or I think he contributed. I think in the first game, which he played, he still, he was still with the offense. He hit some threes, he hit some dunks. I think he that was a pretty big game for him, and he was good offensively. So I think that we don't have a standard for him being an offensive player is a little bit showing that he's not like a super great overall. I think, of course, he's great at defense. He's really good, but like as I said, I think that we saw that he can be a good defensive player and offensive. I think he dropped like, well, I don't know, 16, 15 in his first game, and I think that kind of shows that he really can play offense. I don't know if Tibbs told him anything else to just play more defense, or that he's really like only there for defense. But yeah, I think it's a little sad that we're saying that we don't want him on offense, even if he showed that he could.
Right. Well, what's happening is Brunson and Randall are getting more touches in
That is true.
the scenarios that they like to, score from. So essentially, I guess we're increasing our efficiency by putting the ball in the hands of the main scorers of the team, you know, and we're
Yeah,
having OG focused on what he's better at, which is the defensive side of his game than the offensive side of his game. Even though, like you're saying, he can put some buckets up. He can shoot that three, which is amazing. Actually, stretches the floor, helps the other guys, Brunson and Randall specifically, and it also opens up the floor for pretty much anyone, even himself, in terms of being able to fake and then maybe do a drive past the defender that's coming out to
yeah.
close out on that 3 point shot because they have to respect the shot. So uh, yeah, no real complaints. It's just, I guess, like I'm saying,
No,
the more could be cool to see him do some more
it's
stuff
more of
on
an
offense.
improvement,
Yeah,
or I want to thing
yeah,
than
yeah.
actual really needed.
Right, right. Again, the team chemistry here, I think, is so important. It's clearly the biggest thing. You have Dante DiVincenzo still playing well, and then of course you have iHeart, which we can't forget about. This guy is he's actually talking himself into a new contract. So everyone's talking about that whether or not we're going to be able to sign him
Yeah,
next year. He's playing that well.
I think it still like depends if he's gonna get it or not. I think a couple games is not really enough to give you a new contract. But I think he's kind of more showing that he deserves that. It's questionable how the amount of money he wants, but I think for sure if he just keeps this rhythm up, I think he'll probably get it.
I think so too. He definitely deserves. I think people are saying 15 million a year. I don't know. I think Mitch is a little lower than that, if I remember correctly, or around that anyway. 15 million a year sounds okay, but here's the
It's
bigger
fine.
question. Here's the bigger question, actually, if we're just going to talk about iHeart, is if he does come back next year to the Knicks, is he going to be a starter or is he still going to come off the bench? And should Mitch come off the bench and he stays a starter? Because again, we all want a win streak here. This is working. But
That is true.
people are also saying that if Mitch comes back, the defense gets to another level. So I don't know. Maybe this is obviously a nice problem to have. You have a guy that, can maybe
Yeah.
help more on the offense, which is iHeart. And then you have a guy that can help even more on the defense, which is Robinson. What do you think?
I think, as I said before, I think if he wants to start, I think he has to keep up the consistency. I think last season he had he was amazing. He was above amazing. He gave us a crazy streak then. And if he can duplicate that and make that reality in this year, I think he could definitely be starting next season. Like I really, really think so. But there is still, as I said, a lot to prove here. I think he just a couple games isn't really enough to earn you a contract, and definitely not a starting position. When there's you can see the Knicks have a pretty fighting squad to get a starting position. I think there's so many players on the bench who are trying to get into the future starting 11. So I think for him to show that, I think he has to keep the consistency, which we haven't seen from him this much this season. So it's very nice to see him be good, but we gotta keep him good, you know?
Yeah, yeah. You said starting 11. I think you meant starting five.
Oh
But
yeah, my bad.
no, no, I get it. I get it. The football brain.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I think it's cool. So I agree with you. I think basically what you're saying is there's a lot more games to play, and he has to keep it up. Bottom line.
For sure.
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, like you said, not enough games yet to call it. Let's see how the season progresses. I do
Yeah.
believe that I think he can do it. I believe in iHeart. He has to just stay injury free. He has to stay on the court. So let's see what happens there. McBride and Grimes, they've also picked up their game since the departure of IQ and
They
RJ.
really have.
Mm-hmm.
I think, but I mean, they're also just getting more time, so I mean, it kind of makes sense, you know. But
Yeah,
I think McBride had a great game against Philly. He dropped some buckets, you know. Hopefully he can keep this up. Uh, you never know with the McBride, he might have a little lucky game. You never know. But I think that he's getting more time just shows that he can actually be somewhat of a pretty good player. Uh, you know, hopefully he can just keep getting playing time, keep improving. I think he still has a lot left in him. I think. I mean, I think he can be a very good consistent backup. Uh, but for now, I think it's more of a developing point than actually thinking of him being a big player. You know,
yeah. Well, my thing with McBride is he has to hit the three.
he does.
If he hits the
That's his
three,
main thing. You know,
yeah, he has to hit the three. So if you can hit the three, McBride, you're gonna get playing time and you're gonna do great with that playing time. If you can't hit the three at a decent clip, that's just going to be problems because
then
your
you're done,
defense is
man.
good, but then you still can't shoot because you're not going to do that pull up and you're not the best finisher at the rim, the same as Grimes. So it's actually the same thing with Grimes. Grimes has to hit his threes too. It's actually almost the same thing. Grimes also has to hit his
Yeah,
threes. Grimes has a little bit more of a drive game, but we don't see much of
he
that.
has a little bit
Uh,
more of everything, slightly, I'd say,
yeah, it's a little bit
but
more of
still,
everything.
I think
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I do think that both of them are in a similar boat. McBride and Grimes, they have to
for sure.
keep doing well. To keep taking advantage of this new opportunity with IQ and RJ gone, and really back up that second unit with some points and some
For
defense.
sure, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
Uh,
I mean, he got a haircut, you know? He got a new hairstyle.
who
Uh,
got a new hairstyle?
that, McBride, I think.
I think it's still braided.
Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe it's
I
braided
don't know if that's
differently.
helping him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, oh, I think he was wearing a headband too, or something. There was
Yeah,
some
exactly.
some new stuff.
Just some new style, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That might help him. To be honest, this is his chance, right? Like this is the chance that he's always been asking for. We've been
Just
a lot of
confidence.
yeah. He needs the
He
confidence.
like
Yeah,
he needs that confidence. And I
yeah,
think before he knew he was not going to play when Quickly was here. I think the confidence is a big thing, you know. When you
Yeah,
hit some buckets, you get confident. And I
yeah,
think he's been showing that. I think he's been showing that he can step up sometimes and
yeah,
he's been doing very great.
yeah. And ladies and gentlemen and kids, anyone watching, this is why Lutu is on the call because he's an athlete himself and he knows what confidence can do for a player. So that's a really, really good point, Lutu. I'm not gonna
I think
downplay that.
walking into the stadium with like a grin on your face and saying, "This is my game," just is a big difference than having a hoodie on and walking in quietly, you know?
Right, right, right. Yeah, I'm gonna get my 15 minutes. I'm gonna get my 20 minutes, whatever that is, probably closer to 15. And on when I get my 15 minutes, I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna shoot well. I'm gonna play the best defense.
For sure.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. I get it. Let's talk about the coming games. Let's see all this chemistry we're talking about, all this shooting, this I heart performance, and we're not talking about the superstars on the team. We know they need to keep dropping 25 and up.
Yeah, man.
So that's default. But we're looking
But I
at the
think that's
schedule.
also
Ooh,
sorry that I broke you up there. But I think the thing is Randall and Brunson aren't always gonna have good games. So
mm,
I think I want somebody in the team to be able to step up if one of them doesn't, you know?
mm-hmm,
If Randall drops less than 10 points or only 10, I think we would need somebody who can drop 20 or more
mm-hmm,
instead of just being Brunson who's doing the whole thing, you know?
mm-hmm,
Or if Brunson is dropping 10 and shooting bad,
mm-hmm,
as we saw for a couple games ago, you know?
mm-hmm,
I really hope that there can be a guy always in every game that
mm-hmm,
comes up and helps, you know?
mm-hmm. I agree. We can't always expect 30 points from each of them. One of them has to be hot, and I would say
Yeah,
then that the bench has to pick up the rest of the scoring.
for
The
sure.
Grimes, the McBride, specifically Grimes, Dante DiVincenzo, for sure, and maybe even OG. Again, that's why I was saying
Exactly.
earlier on the call on the show that maybe even OG has to chip in a little bit more from time to time. But going to the schedule for the rest of the week at least, or uh, the coming week, we have the Trailblazers. Then we have so we're on the road versus the no, at home versus the Trailblazers. Sorry. Then we're on the road in Dallas. Then we go from Dallas to Memphis Grizzlies. Then we go back home, and then we have one, two, three, 4 games at home. So we can stop there, and then we're at the Nets, which is still home, but
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
still
It's
home.
pretty much home, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And then we're actually back home again versus the Nuggets. Hold on, I'm gonna keep going down this list. Then we're
Oh,
still at home versus the Heat. Then we travel to Charlotte, which could also be a home. And then we go home, back with the Jazz, home Pacers, home Lakers, home Grizzlies, home map. Oh my God.
whoa!
We are basically at home
Wait, no, no, no,
for
no.
the next month easily. I didn't know it was this crazy. Okay, we're really. So here's the thing. Let's really all cross our fingers
Yeah,
here because I'm expecting a lot of wins.
this has to be wins, you know. This is some crazy stuff, you know. This could be one of the best winning streaks we've had in a while. One of the best, I'd say, for sure. I think we can get back like a if we can keep this, you know, that'd be really, really good for the playoffs. I think just to have not be playing in the play-in, not be even close to the play-in, hopefully, and just keep it cruising. No injuries, please, Knicks players. Just don't get hurt, man. Especially in silly ways. Uh, just keep it up, man.
I
I think
agree.
this could be a big streak. Even if we lose one of them, it doesn't matter. I think we still should be keeping consistency.
I'm expecting a lot of wins.
I am.
Hold on. Let's
I
go down the line.
no,
Trailblazers
but
wins.
as I said to you before, I said
Yeah.
that we've had so many away games.
Yeah.
So I think. to get these home games now, I think I almost saw it coming,
Yeah,
having a
no,
good record, but
yeah.
having a lot of like not being close to home, and now being like at Madison Square Garden for more, like a lot more than the majority. I'd say it's pretty good. Though
I mean,
I don't know how to check the stats and stuff for like away games and home games percentage, like and wins and stuff. But according to me, that sounds pretty great.
yeah, I'm looking even into March, and I'm looking at a lot of home games.
Whoa,
There's a West Coast trip there,
yeah,
starting
man.
on March 14th to March 21st. But then we're back at
It
home
ends in
versus the, huh?
like April and stuff, right? It ends then somewhere in April.
April
No,
14th is the last game. The last two games are home games, the Nets and the Bulls. So, and this schedule is looking much easier than the previous couple of months. So, I'm
it does.
I don't know what it is, but it seems like we can definitely. I don't know. Maybe it's just the confidence this team is giving us because of their
Maybe,
chemistry.
I think maybe for 4 games ago, we probably maybe wouldn't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think for 4 games ago, before the trade, maybe we wouldn't be smiling,
Mm-hmm.
being like all happy. But you know, it can still work out.
We can
We just gotta keep this.
got to keep this. The Knicks do
Gotta
put
keep
pressure
this.
on you. So Trail, let's just go through a couple. Let's go see if we can go to 10. Trailblazers, I expect
Should
to
be
win.
win for
Yeah.
sure, for sure, for
Mavericks,
sure.
I expect a tough game. But
Tough game.
if we can shut down Luca with OG, we might have a
Who would be
chance.
on Luca then?
I think I would
No
just
question.
put OG on Luca. Just put OG on Luca.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, just do that. Figure out the rest. Uh, Shut Luca down. Grizzlies,
We should win that.
no,
Really?
that's a tough one. Yeah, I think that's a tough one.
There's
Grizzlies at home at the Grizzlies. It's an away game. Magic, another tough one. They beat us last
no,
time, but
no.
hmm,
Really?
what?
You think we're gonna lose to the Grizzlies?
I think we could lose to the Grizzlies. Yes.
They're 12-23, man.
John Morant just came back, so they're not 12-23 in the past like 5 games.
True, but I think if we win those two, that means we have a 6 game, man.
If we can find a way to stop John Morant, which I think no one can find a way to stop John Morant right now, then I would say yes. But John Morant is
Maybe.
crazy. Like he's the real deal.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess so.
So I fear John Morant even more than Luca. I don't know why. But having Luca and then John Morant back to back is also not that great. The Magic,
No.
they beat us last time, like I said. So we gotta have to have some revenge on our mind. Then we got
Yeah.
then we got the Rockets. They're not a terrible, terrible team. Like they can have some good nights. So we got
They
to keep
can
our
they well the most teams that we're facing in the
yeah
latest couple of days are teams that can have good nights.
fair. But again, Rockets still expect to win.
Yeah.
Wizards
Yeah.
expect another win. Then we got the
For sure, for
Raptors.
sure.
We got the RJ and
Ooh,
IQ coming back to the Garden.
spicy.
That has to
Spicy.
be yeah. That has to be. The thing is, Siakam. He's a baller. Like he can definitely go 1-to-1 with Randall. They can't really stop each other. Everything else
Wait,
has to happen. Outside of
is
those
it at
players
the Garden or is
at the
it?
Garden.
Whoa,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
at the
nice,
Garden. So, I mean, that's going to go down. That's going to be really, really intense of a matchup. Then we got the
Big
Nets,
game.
the Nuggets at home. That's a tough one, actually. We're going to have to tough that one out, but it is a home
We're
game.
gonna have some good, huge big games.
The Heat at home. It's going to also, always be a tough game with the Heat. We never really have their number, and lately, uh,
Yeah,
we've been kind of at least competitive in our matches with them. So at the Hornets to close out the month, and then versus the Jazz, which is the last game of January at home. So hopefully that's a win as well. So at minimum, you know, get 60, 70% of these games. as a
Yeah.
win.
It sounds easier than it is.
It does. It does.
It does. Like when you read it up and we have a 4 game winning streak and we beat Philly by almost 40, it sounds very easy, but it really isn't, you know. Very
No.
few games in the NBA are actually somewhat easy, you know.
Hmm.
I think even like facing the Pistons, like if the Pistons have a good night, we're probably gonna win it, you know. But it doesn't mean it's gonna be easy, you know.
The NBA is hard. The NBA is
It's very,
challenging.
very hard.
But to wrap this up, this has been a great call. The Knicks are kicking
Yeah.
butt. 4 game win streak.
Just
Four in
keep that
a
up, man.
row.
Give
Uh,
me a whole hand, please. A whole
five
hand.
in a whole hand. 5 in a row. Let's go for the whole hand. Uh, let's go for more. Let's go for 2 hands, man. Let's
Two hands,
let's
man.
yeah, let's just keep doing it. I'm liking this team. We talked
For
about
sure.
team chemistry, and I think that's what's happening here. Somehow it's working out. The numbers
Tibbs
to me
got
doesn't
something
make a lot of
cooking,
sense.
man.
Yeah, but we're cooking.
Tibbs
There's
got something cooking.
yeah, Tibbs got something cooking. There's some stat out there that like OG has the craziest plus minus over these 4 games, like the best plus minus in Knicks history or something like something crazy.
Really?
Uh, but if you really believe in the plus minus stats, that means that he's been the highest
Yeah.
positive contributor in the last 4 games, which is strange. That means that he's just always in that
That's
right spot.
crazy.
Yeah, I think he's making defenders second guess. Oh, defenders. He's making the offensive player second guess their move.
But exactly, I think after every trade, I think there's always a new strategy to playing against a team with a crazy new trade, you know?
Hmm.
And I think it's been shocking some teams. I think OG is also kind of like unpredictable. Like he can shoot the three, he's strong and big, and he can dunk, you know? You don't
Yeah,
know if he's gonna drive and dunk on you, or if he's just gonna shoot it,
yeah, yeah.
or he can pass it off. You know, it's a little. He's a guy who's pretty unpredictable. You know.
Let's touch on that maybe in another video. Unpredictability of our man OG Anunoby. I want to talk more about that. Thank you everyone for tuning in again to FNS Sports. This has been pretty cool. I'm not sure if we're at the 25-minute, 30-minute mark, but we're gonna wrap it up right here. Uh,
Yeah.
cool stuff. Utu and I are no longer in the same place. You are back in Sweden.
Sweden, man.
All right,
Cold,
and
cold Sweden.
oh, it's minus Celsius, Arctic Circle, and I'm gonna head back over to Portugal in a little bit. Uh, see you guys soon. Back for another
Yeah,
video,
man.
maybe end of the week or something. All right, we'll keep you
For
guys
sure.
posted. Take it easy.
Yeah.
Sayonara. Adios. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.